Top 10 NFL wide receivers, 5 to 1. Number 5, Doug Baldwin, age 28. This is definitely going to shock some people, and I guarantee you I know. I understand. I'm not basing this on statistics. I'm basing it on the entire thing in terms of body of work. As people know, that's how I base it off. I don't base it off statistics. I do, but there's certain things that I do get off from getting this kind of list going is due to just observing everything ins and outs. And just when you look at what's been going on, like if you look at the other 10 guys, DeAndre had just an off year, and he still managed to have a great year for sure. He's got Lamar Miller in terms of that. And, you have Des Bryant, who has Elliott, and he's got some things, and he's getting down some numbers, so that's another thing. AJ Green, another guy that's got to be more consistent with it. You just keep going down that list. And Mike Evans, he's continued to improve constantly every single time. And, I'm pretty sure I'm missing someone right now, and I don't remember the list. Oh, Jarvis Landry, my bad, not number 8. Another guy that's unbelievable, really good talent, very young. This guy is different. The reason why he's high is because he didn't really get much going when he was not really a focal point in the offense. Like, what I'm saying is, when he got drafted in 2011, let's be honest, I don't think anyone really knew who this guy was. Again, he was drafted super low to the point where it was like, people didn't really know much about him, and they thought he wasn't going to really do much at all in the league. Just in general, this guy didn't really have he just didn't have a good rep. Like, people just didn't know him because, he was not drafted, he was undrafted, which makes it even better, right? I really love the fact that Doug Baldwin at 5'10" is doing what he does best, and that's just, he really does catch a lot of balls, dude, when he's the main focal point right now in the offense. There is no Marshawn. Thomas Rawls is a little bit of an injury prone, so the running game isn't as strong as when Marshawn was there. So what do you have? Well, someone's got to step up, and I like how Doug Baldwin stepped up and has become just a really valuable guy to this team. People might not see that. I just feel like I have, especially because his numbers have increased the past 2 years. In 2015, with 14 receiving touchdowns. Of course, he had half of that this year, but that doesn't matter because he had more receptions, he had more yards. He's starting to have more yards a game. He's starting to kind of catch more. He's starting to just be a bigger focal point of the offense. And even with that whole thing, he's still able to really impact the team. And you just see he's going to get, definitely corners now going to start covering him a lot more. They're going to understand his potential and his ability to catch the football. So, of course, he's going to get covered a lot more now by the top corners. So that's going to be a very big, it's going to be a test for him for sure. But I just think he's just ready for it. He's a great football player, smart guy, and he has a lot to prove. And that's a big thing is he came out of nowhere, a guy that came from Stanford that people were like, he's okay. Seahawks took a chance, of course, and look what they got, dude. They have like a Pro Bowl-esque star kind of wide receiver, honestly. He's the number 1 guy in Seattle. He's going to be. I'm not sure where else he would be a number 1 guy right now because a lot of them have their number 1s for the most part. But he's just a great fit for the Seahawks offense. He's great with Russ. They're a great pairing, and I think he deserves to be on this list. He deserves to be high because of what he's done. And, you just look at this entire list, and it's a collection of talent. I just see Doug Baldwin as top 5 right now, like, honestly. And you look at it right now, what he's done. He played 16 games, started in 15. He had 94 receptions for 1,128 receiving yards, 12 yards per reception, 7 receiving touchdowns. His longest one was 59. He's had 70.5 yards a game. Also had 3 rushes for 2 yards. His longest run was, for some reason, his longest run was 4, so it probably dropped from loss of yardage. And he did have 1 fumble. Now, in the playoffs in 2016, very big focal point, 16 receptions, 184 yards, 11.5, pretty much average per reception, 2 touchdowns. Longest one was 42. And his average game was 92 yards a game in the 2 games that he played there. He also had 2 rushes for 7 yards and no fumbles. So that's very good. He hasn't kicked or punted really, return-wise. He did have 1 pass, 1 completion, 1 for 1, and it was actually a touchdown, 15 yards. It's pretty great. Yeah, no, the fumble, there was no fumble recovery. Overall, though, I think he's a great player, Pro Bowler, 70 receptions, and I feel like people should really focus on him a little more. I think he's really overlooked. He's always been, and I think he still is. I think people don't realize how good of a player he really is, though. I just think Doug Baldwin has a lot to prove, and he's just continuously trying to improve and make himself better. And I think he deserves to be top 5 right now. He's got that. He's got a motor. He's got confidence. He's got the will, and he's grinding. And I think he'll continue to grind this year, and I hope he gets better numbers this year. Number 4, Larry Fitzgerald, age 33. What can I say more than Larry Fitzgerald is a Hall of Famer, is a legend. Arizona will retire his number, and he's one of the best wide receivers of all time. It's plain and simple. And you know what? At the age of 33, people think of it as the old man. I still think he's got a lot more years left in him. And I just feel like it's really impressive as what he has done for his age in terms of all these guys that are 23, 24. And he's just getting more receptions. He's just doing things that really I would expect other guys to do, honestly. And his ability to stay healthy is also incredibly impressive. Like, he works hard. He works super hard. And he is, like I said, a Hall of Famer for sure. It's unbelievable. Let's just first take a look at his numbers. 16 games he played and started. He had 107 receptions, 1,023 receiving yards, 9.6 average per reception, 6 receiving touchdowns, 33 was long, had a 63.9 average per game. He had 2 rushes for 5 yards and had 2 fumbles in the regular season. They didn't get to the playoffs. As you know, Arizona kind of dipped off a bit. Didn't have any fumble recoveries from those 2 fumbles, though. But what you can possibly see, though, is just a guy that just consistently puts numbers. It's really impressive. It's over 100 yards, and again, he's got over 1,000 receptions. So, put the man up in there, of course. Unfortunately, he's not a first-team All-Pro, but he is a 2016 Pro Bowler. Also ranks number 1 in receptions. And like I said, he's currently 9th in receiving yards. He's currently 3rd in receptions. It's just really incredible just to see this guy play, and Arizona should take to account of that, and we should take to account of that as NFL fans, that we're witnessing greatness. We're witnessing a Hall of Famer, and no matter if you're a rival of the Cardinals, no matter if you are, Seahawks fan, Ram fan, 49er fan, or whatever type of kind of fan that they might hate Arizona, you can't hate on Larry, because he's never really said much to really begin to have someone hate him. He's just a really humble guy that just plays with his heart out, and I truly admire Larry Fitzgerald. And he deserves to be on this list. High on this list. I think he deserves to be where he's at right now. I can always put him higher for sure, but I mean, just right now what he's done, it's amazing. Hall of Famer. Wow. I can't wait to watch him this year. It'll be great to see. Number 3, Odell Beckham Jr., age 24, the most exciting man in the NFL to watch. There's a lot of guys that are exciting, but Odell's so exciting to watch. You just have that weekly thing where whoa, is he going to have that one-handed catch again? What's going to happen? Is he going to do that again? Is he going to do a miraculous play? Like, everyone wants to see what's Odell going to do, next week, the following week. What's going to happen? Is he going to do something else? Is he going to defy the physics of gravity and stuff? He's just really great because one-handed catches don't do him justice enough. First of all, yeah, it's amazing what he can do just with his body and his balance. That's sick. That's great. That's awesome. But also, you got to understand, he gets numbers, dude. Like, people think he's just a flashy dude. He makes those. No, dude, he always plays his entire heart out. And he's had an interview pretty recently where he's like, yeah, I take my job pretty seriously because we only get 20 minutes of offense around there, whereas he doesn't play defense, or he's like, no defense, no special teams, I just want to focus on offense. And yes, of course I'm going to take every play seriously. And then, you know what? That's a great attitude to have as an athlete, because if you just think, oh, I don't want to be too brashy and stuff, you're not going to get too far. I think you have to have a balance of humbleness, but also brashness. You need to be confident. Odell's confident. I know he's confident, and you should be confident. He's one of the most elite guys out there in terms of wide receiver position. It's one of the funnest guys to watch in the league. Everything he does is just entertaining. He's an entertaining dude. He creates a lot of controversy, and it's always exciting for news, for people. And for us humans, we're like, whoa, we got someone to kind of look at. Like, whoa, he just did that? Really? He's just got he's got that kind of charisma, and he's got balls, dude. He's got balls to do it. I think he definitely deserves to be definitely high on this list. He's just, in my opinion, not as good as Julio or AB. That's just plain and simple. He's a lot younger than them. Therefore, he will be the best wide receiver in the league very, very soon. I just think he just needs a little bit more time because of what's been going on in terms of what Julio and what Julio does with his routes and everything he's been doing. Just amazing stuff. And AB, how he just is very impactful for Pittsburgh's offense. Like, those two guys are incredible athletes to watch. Odell is great. He's going to be the best wide receiver. Definitely he's going to be the best wide receiver out there. But right now he has to be number 3. And his stats are just amazing. 16 games that he played, also started, 101 receptions for 1,367 receiving yards. Had an average reception of 13.5 with 10 receiving touchdowns. 75 was his long. His average game was 85.4, along with one rush for 9 yards. 3 fumbles, which is kind of a bummer there. In the one game that he played, again, 4 receptions, 28 yards. So, like I said, he just needs to get more maturity in the playoffs. Once he keeps producing like that, that'd be amazing. Again, he did get kick returns for sure, but I know he focuses more on offense, obviously. But 10 returns for 66 yards. His longest one was 19. Didn't get a touchdown at all. Playoffs, did have 2 kick returns for 48 yards. No touchdowns there. And 3 fumbles. He had a fumble recovery there, which is great. No passing at all. And, pretty much what he got was a Pro Bowl. And didn't get an All-Pro. For the most part, didn't get an All-Pro yet. AP-wise, he did, second team. But, overall, didn't get anything there. Again, 5th in receiving touchdowns this year, 3rd in receiving yards, also 3rd in receptions. So he's a guy that he's a good football player. I think if he continues where he's going, he's going to be the top. And even better yet, I can see Odell being a future Hall of Famer, to be quite honest. He's an entertaining dude. So, deserving of this high of a number. Number 2, Julio Jones, age 28. I just talked about this guy. Yes, he is an incredible football player. He's number 2. You can guess who number 1 is right now for me. But Julio Jones deserves to be on this list. First of all, when it comes to the whole questioning of can he play really well in the playoffs, yeah, he can. He actually did really well in the Super Bowl, to be quite honest with you. Had a great, I don't know if you saw that catch out of bounds It was pure athleticism. It was pure Julio Jones. It was just him, just being Julio. He can just he's the one of the best wide receivers in the league, dude. He's really unmatched. You can't really put a real solid corner to really get this guy. You need a really tall guy that actually can try to, you know, can try to get him. Because if you get like a 5'10", you know, if you get like under 6 foot guy, he's just gonna run past him. Because he's actually super fast for a 6'4" dude. Just pure speed on this guy. Just pure energy. His routes are beautiful. He's able to just kind of, he uses his hips well, everything, dude. The way he just moves his body, his whole routes, everything about him, the way he plays the game is nice and just agile, and he makes it look so easy. And it's like, whoa, like this isn't a hard thing. Being a wide receiver is a hard thing to do, you know, especially at the highest level in the NFL. And he just makes it look super easy, and it's just really fun to watch. He's a fun guy to watch, and it's fun when I see Matt Ryan and him connect. Woo, that's a good tandem, let me tell you. So Julio is just, yeah, he's a great NFL player, one of the best in the league. Yeah, just overall, just nothing bad to say about him. He's just a great guy. And I don't really hear much about him in terms of bad things. Now, Julio, 14 games he played, 14 he started, 83 receptions. It kind of downgraded from the 136 reception year he had a year ago. He still managed to get 1,409 receiving yards, 17 per reception. Oof. 6 receiving touchdowns, along with a 75 was his long, an average game of 100.6 yards a game. That's pretty great. And no fumbles in the regular season? Nice. No fumbles in the playoffs? Nice. What else did he get? He also got 19 receptions, 334 yards. 17.6 was his average reception. 3 receiving touchdowns. Longest was 73, and an average game of 111.3 receiving yards a game. That's insane. Playoffs, he's showing up. That's another thing. He's showing up, and it's great to see him. It was great to see him on the big stage. I like to see how players react when they're in the Super Bowl, in the biggest stages of their life. Like, how do you react in the biggest moment, in the playoffs, in the championship, in the Super Bowl? Like, how do you do? And if you really perform, that shows what kind of athlete you are, and you know it shows what you have to improve on, of course. But Julio, he's not afraid of the spotlight. I think I want to see him back there. I want to see him back in the Super Bowl. I just want to see him wreck again. He's a great he's a great just football player. He put Malcolm Butler on skates, you know. Like, I think this guy is he just has Hall of Fame on it, you know. In my opinion, he's a super freak, you know. He really is. And you look at what he got. He got a Pro Bowl, first team All Pro, as well as first in receiving yards a game. He's done that twice already now. But yeah, overall, like, what can you say? But yeah, he deserves to be where he's at right now. He deserves to be a star. That's what he is. He's a star, and I enjoy watching Julio Jones, and I think he's just gonna get even better. He's gonna have another great year, and he's gonna fight for a top spot again on this list with the next guy that I have on my list. And the guy is number 1, Antonio Brown, age 29. I don't know if you guys are surprised or not. I sure aren't. I believe he's the best receiver in the game. Tagging him with Le'Veon Bell as the best running back in the game. Yeah, I do love myself Pittsburgh football right now in terms of what they got going on. I just want to see them I just want to see them succeed a little bit more, which they did. They got to the AFC Championship and ran to a New England Patriots team that's just built to win all the time. And again, this is a young defense, so I already called that. I already knew this defense is very young. They just got to learn more. They got to progress as players, and they'll just get even better. And I think this will be a very great Pittsburgh Steelers team for years to come, depending on Ben Roethlisberger situation. Will he retire after this year? Will he not? If he doesn't, I feel like they do have more than 1 year capability of getting to the Super Bowl. Not saying that it's diminished. It's just very hard when you lose a guy like Ben Roethlisberger off your roster. It's kind of a big loss. I'm not gonna lie. It's a big gap to fill if you're Ben Roethlisberger's replacement. But anyway, yeah, AB deserving of this by a million miles. Like, this guy deserves just great success, especially when he's pretty much had from 2010 to 2012. People were questioning about how kind of a football player he would be, because he only had like 66 receptions, like in the 60s kind of receptions, and they're like, is he even going to be a star? Like, is there even a potential? There was potential. 2013 hit, and he's like, I'm going to turn on my gas now at 25, and boy, did he really made the most out of it, and he just hasn't looked back at all. His numbers may have dropped, but I don't care. I think he's still the best receiver in the game because of the way he just catches everything. He's just a guy he's a dangerous guy. You need two guys on him, honestly. Like, if you want to shut him down, you really do need either a shutdown corner that really knows how to play man-to-man super well, or you're going to have to get like a corner and a possible safety kind of at the other end over there, deeper down the field, to make sure that he doesn't get those passes, because he's able to just really, he's a fast guy. He's able to get those passes, and he's going to catch them, and he's going to be just a really fun, entertaining player to watch. He won't be denied. He's a hard worker. He's a very hard worker. I've seen him, not me personally, but just videos of him working out, and it's hours of training, it's hours of prepping, it's hours of just, oh, yep, I gotta hit the gym. Okay, I'm gonna hit the gym again. Oh, gotta go to hit the gym, and then after I gotta run some routes. He really perfects his craft. He takes it serious, and that's another reason why I want him number one, is because this is a guy that takes himself really seriously about his craft, and it's really nice because it actually shows. His stats show. His body of work actually shows out in the field how much he cares. I would like for him and Le'Veon to definitely win a Super Bowl together. That'd be awesome to see. That's a great offense. Defense just has to mature a little more. But other than that, I love AB. I really do. I think this guy's great. I think sky's the limit with this guy. It's funny because I actually haven't even begun to even discuss the guys that I've actually mentioned contract-wise. And that kind of sucks because I literally backtracked a lot. And I can just go back. At number 5, Doug Baldwin, 3 years, $34.5 million. At number 4, Larry Fitzgerald, 1 year, $11 million. We'll see what happens there. Will he retire? Will he not? At number 3, Odell Beckham, 2 years, $5.2 million. He's definitely going to get paid a lot. And Julio Jones, 4 years, $57 million, well deserved. And number 1, Brown right now, 4 years, $68 million. So he'll be staying around for a while. He'll be staying around until he's like 32, 33, around there. And by that time, I feel like if he continues the 100-plus reception mark, he'll be by the 900s. I think he'll be a Hall of Famer. I personally believe he'll be a Hall of Famer because his numbers are just jumping, and he's as long as he has a pretty decent QB with him, I feel like he'll be having the same numbers. But anything can happen. Hopefully his career doesn't get ruined because quarterback chemistry and stuff. Anyway, his numbers: 15 games played, 15 games started, 106 receptions, 1,284 receiving yards, 12.1 average reception. So 12 receiving touchdowns. He had more touchdowns this year than last year, so that's something. 51 is his longest. He had an average game of 85.6 yards. Also 3 rushes for 9 yards. 13 was his long. No fumbles. Very good on that. In the playoffs, he had 18 receptions for 309 yards. 17.2 was his average per reception, with 2 receiving yards. 62 was his long. 103 was his average game, and no fumbles. And you want to look at kicks and punt returns in the regular season. He had 15 of them for 140 yards, 33 is long, and 9.3 was his average run. And kick returns, 1 return for 23 yards, no touchdowns, 23 was long. So very good to see in the playoffs. He also had 4 returns for 28 yards, 10 was long, 7 per average punt return, and kick return, he had 1 for 0 yards. And like I said, just all around dynamic player. Earns him just a great spot where he's pretty much a Pro Bowl, a first team All-Pro, you know, and just overall just a great entertaining player and the best wide receiver in the NFL. So what more can you ask? But you're the best wide receiver in the NFL. So